It's June 19th. It is a celebration of the emancipation of the slaves from the Civil War. So it's a day of freedom, right? Just like July 4th. So it's, in the same spirit. But the second significance is it's National Albatross Day, right? And we have a project that we've been working on for a while, codenamed Albatross. And so it's it's a convenient day because it's a day that means freedom for many. And given that we do completely open sourced hardware and software, that's the essence of freedom, right? So at least in the computing world. So I think it's a good day to celebrate what we're doing and to launch what we've been working on. So yeah, Albatross. I'm trying to get it to launch on Juneteenth. So looking forward to that.
Albatross, first generation of Voxor product.
Mm-hmm.
What's special about it?
It was almost entirely community made. I think that's a really huge thing, right? So a lot of companies will build dev kits, right? Oh, he's falling. He's out of here. A lot of companies will build dev kits based on what they want to put into the dev kit. And personally, I think that dev kits should be defined by the developers who use them, right? So it's a tool for devs by devs, right? So that's kind of like, I guess, the spirit of it, right? So that's one thing that's very special about it. And the second thing that's special about it is, as a company, we remain fully democratic, right? And our community is kind of the headliner of everything we do. So I really think that this democratic model that we've chosen, and you'll hear oftentimes investors especially like to say, you need to be a benevolent dictator. And I actually reject that entirely. I think we should be democratic in everything we do, right? This is America after all, right? We were founded on those principles. And I do think that the people should have a say. And especially when you get down to it, the whole vote with your wallet thing, you shouldn't have to vote with just your wallet. You should also vote with your suggestions. And we want to implement them and make our products better as products, but also we want to do something different, right? And I really, really want that to work out. I want to show people that there is another way, right? It doesn't have to be black and white all the time. We can find new solutions to these problems. And so we've noticed a trend that cars on the road, the average age of the cars on the road is going up. And a lot of it had to do with the silicon shortage and other production issues regarding COVID, but also the price of cars and inflation and everything is going up. And then it's also not very green to get rid of your car every 5 years. And the environment, like preserving the environment, has been kind of a core tenet of ours since we started the company. So I think one of the most special things is that we actually address that problem, right? So reduce, reuse, recycle, we do all three. And I think that's what is most special about us. And the second is, you get to keep your car, your exact car that you like. You went and you picked it out. You're just adding stuff that you want from newer cars into it. And I think that's good for both the consumer and for the environment. So I want to try to hit both if we can.
What is your vision about Voxor serving these more vulnerable populations living in a society?
Right. So we have somewhat of a twofold plan for that. So first is the actuator technology is also somewhat of an accessibility thing, right? So if you don't have, say, the muscle strength, or you can't control the pedals and steering at the same time, well, with our actuator tech, you'd be able to use something like a joystick to control the steering, gas, and brakes, which would allow you, if you're, I don't want to say handicapped, but like if your car's not fitted with that technology, this is a good option for that. And then second, we have maintained a very healthy relationship with a nonprofit called Endeavor, which you know about because it's your nonprofit. But basically, we have maintained a good relationship with Endeavor since our inception, and a lot of that ideology has made it into what we do on a daily basis. So Endeavor is providing autonomous cars to communities so that they can be used for things like bus services to transport people within a city, you know, to specific destinations, like a bigger bus stop if they're going out of city, or you know, the original idea was to take veterans to a VA hospital, and that actually is what sparked this whole thing in the first place. So yeah, accessibility has been at our core since we started, and we definitely want to continue that tradition.
So they give you a used phone, and then you put a wonderful stuff on it, and you can make a car autonomous. How does this all work all together?
Right. So, way back in the day, let's get a little history lesson in here, huh? Open Pilot, which is the project that we forked off of. Comma AI, the company that built that project originally, they were using a OnePlus 3T, which is an Android phone, and then they removed support for Android, and we wanted to keep that going. So, right, so that's pretty much why we're using the phone, because it's just an accessible architecture, right? You're not going to find a fully integrated sensor and compute stack for cheaper. And George Hotz is the one who said that, and he was absolutely right. And then they went and started building their own hardware. So we're not trying to springboard anything with this. We're going to keep support for as long as technologically possible. And I think that's a little difference that we have.
Kevin, I know that you have a wonderful community behind you, the community of over 1,000.
Yep.
How many?
About
1,500 people? Right. Engineers across the world contributing to the RetroPilot technology. It is really hard to imagine how you could organize these talents, this energy together towards the mission of RetroPilot. Can you explain a little bit about how you manage, or maybe manage not a correct word to say, how do you keep the community exciting and engaging?
Well, the first thing is lots of sociology textbooks, I guess. Mainly, I guess the main thing I want to point out is that it isn't me, it's us, right? Like, we do everything together. I represent them when it comes to, you know, I do a stream every couple of weeks called Town Hall, where we just talk about what's going on in the community. And I think that keeps everyone engaged, that keeps morale high. But really it's them. They keep the momentum going. Their contributions and their projects. When people see that that their contributions have been recognized, especially, I think that encourages them to keep going. But really, it's their talent. So I do shout them out every week, or every town hall, which is every couple of weeks. I'd like to get it every week, but yeah, I think that has a huge role to play in it. And I think the other thing that keeps it going is pretty much just being part of something, and not fearing that their suggestions will go unheard, right? Like I said earlier, we're a democracy, right? So people make suggestions, and then we actually vote on them from time to time. But I think that also keeps people engaged. Again, like America, right? We can vote, and having the option to vote keeps people talking, right? Keeps people talking about the government, what they would do better, and I think everyone in general tries to do what they think is best. And I think the same goes for my community. And as long as we recognize that, and we continue, I guess, shouting out their suggestions, right? Making sure that they're heard. I think that helps keep things going.
That is really amazing. Do you have anything to say to potential investors to Voxer?
Invest in democracy. Right? We are doing things different from a fundamental level, right? And you definitely want to be a part of this while it's small like this. You want to get in at the ground level, right? I do think we're onto something big. It's bigger than just the technology that we're working with. I think that there are sweeping changes to how business is run in general. And if you want to be a part of that, which I highly suggest you do, I think we have the best outreach to the younger generations as well. And we have a goal in mind that helps the older generations. So I don't think that we're going to be ostracized by anyone, just given the way we do things, but also what we're doing. So, oh, Snoop. he sees he sees a kid getting picked up in the background, and he's just like, I want to get picked up. Put him on his back.
Oh.
Like a baby.
Be nice, bud. Be nice.
So where do you see Voxer to be 3 years from now?
3 years from now, I think we'll be paying contributors a lot more. I think that our realistically, I see our project growing. I see our project actually being installed in more cars. I see more stuff happening in the future with the data that we collect, which, by the way, the training part of that is all consensual. It's all, if you upload data, you own that data, and you give us permission to use it explicitly. But by default, it's not. That permission is not given. So, but I do think that we'll see more community models, some more community contributions. But I think more importantly, I think we'll see some, hopefully, some level 4-ish stuff going on with those city buses, right? We do have a working relationship with Nolanville through Endeavor Ride, so I do think that that's going to produce some very interesting research, really, but also some very interesting technology will come out of that.
So many people are concerned about autonomous driving technology replacing jobs. I guess in general, automation replacing jobs. What is your vision on that?
We will never replace jobs. That is not what we are out to do. And if we find people using our technology to do that, first of all, we don't bless it, and we won't take liability if there's a problem with that. Our tools are they're tools, right? You don't use a screwdriver to replace someone's job, right? And in the same vein, you wouldn't use this technology to replace somebody. It's meant to assist them and make their life easier. So if you're on a long stretch of road, it'll make the journey safer, and it'll make it easier on you. So you're less fatigued in the same amount of time that you would do that same amount of work, right? So yeah, we're not out to replace anyone's jobs, and we actually are pretty outspoken against using technology to replace jobs.
That's awesome. I see the shirt, Retro Pilot.
Yes.
It is it's really interesting. It's back in the 1980s, everybody played the retro games. So what's the meaning of Retro Pilot?
Retro Pilot, right. So the first one is, the pilot, the asterisk pilot kind of gag, I guess, or meme. That kind of just, autopilot, open pilot, retro pilot. But the retro part, I really like that because it's a 2-syllable word, so it still fits within the I guess the tonal aspects of it. And then secondly, retro, because originally we were focused on old cars. The first 2 cars that were implemented were a 1986, I believe, Volkswagen Venegon from the guy's name is Lucas. You might be able to find him as self-driving T3. This is a Venegon T3. And then the second one is the car I brought, which is my 2003 Toyota Celica. So those cars are all pretty old, right? And we want to go backwards, right? So it kind of goes back to our company slogan, right? We're rebuilding the future and future-proofing the past. So that's kind of,
Want to keep as many cars running on the road as possible.
yes,
Exactly.
reduce, reuse, recycle, right? So we're reducing production, we're reusing old cars, and we're recycling phones to get them to have those features. Like I said, the guy that I inherited this car from, he was like 85 when he stopped driving it. And as you can tell, that was falling off when I got it.
Man, you saved the car from going to the junkyard.
Yep, that was the original plan, was when he passed on, they were just going to pretty much scrap it or sell it to the first teenager who would have probably destroyed it or scrapped it. There's someone coming, I think. But...
Okay.
So, you can tell I do a lot of off-road driving because the engine's covered in mud. Here's the aforementioned Tesla Model X brake booster. The battery used to go there. I had to relocate it to the back. And then inside the car, and it's properly fused. I'm pretty proud of myself. I don't know if you'll be able to see this one, but in here, column mount EPS from a Toyota Corolla 2017. So I can control this over CAN. This is the control module for the brake booster. So see how tiny that is? That is something that my community, I should say our community, actually developed, right? So this is called an Ocelot. It's basically a CAN gateway.
Can control the braking.
A little crazy, huh?
This is a little crazy, man.
Oh crap, someone's coming.